What's going on, folks? This is going to be a relatively quick video with my thoughts on the current state of Star Citizen. It was a tough one for me to make, and I thought about not doing this because I'm usually very positive about the game, but it has been very tough to play my favorite game lately. And I've had people who are subscribers on Twitch or YouTube, or just friends in Discord who have been asking me questions about, hey, why aren't you streaming? Why aren't you making videos? Why are you playing less? And these are the reasons why. And I think this is important information for people who maybe are thinking about getting into the game or are just wondering if they're the only ones out there who are having a hard time right now. To preface this, I am not a casual player. I play Star Citizen 5 to 7 days a week. I play in the evenings, around work, in the gym, and touching grass and all that. I play the game a lot. I love the game. I stream, I make YouTube videos. I made YouTube partner on Star Citizen content. So I acknowledge that the game is an alpha, but I also think that my opinion should be heard as someone who is very passionate about the game, and hopefully it resonates with some of you. I know it's an alpha. I know things change. I'm hopeful for the best. I think things will continue to progress and make sense and will flesh out more. But 3.23 really broke the game for me. Master modes, in my opinion, is a mess. Not everything about it. I don't mind the mode switch. I don't mind nav speed versus combat speed, but what they have done initially has made so many ships not fun to fly for me. In my opinion, the Corsair, which is my main ship, is not fun to fly anymore. The Redeemer, which I also like, not fun to fly. Carrack, brutal to fly. And while I acknowledge that big ships should have weight to them, and they should not handle like a little fighter, I think games like Elite Dangerous did it better, where the big ships could still move and still be fun to fly. They were just slower and less agile than their smaller counterparts. I think they're going in the wrong direction. And so many of my ships I don't even use anymore because it's a video game and they're not fun. It's an immersive video game, but if I don't enjoy flying my ship, why would I fly it, right? I'm doing this for relaxation and for fun. They've added more keybinds. And I know there's a certain subcategory of player out there who wants to gatekeep the game and they want it to be more complicated and more difficult, and it should only be for the dedicated player with the fight sticks and all that. That's not the answer. I'm a heavy player. I play all the time. I do PvP. I like to consider myself relatively proficient at the game. But we want this game to go mainstream. We want millions of people playing this game so that the game keeps going for longer for the diehards like us. We want 15 to 20 years of content, and making it that there is a skill level that you have to get to be proficient is fine. But adding 30 to 50 new keybinds that you have to memorize to get in and out of your ship, it's just not the right direction in my opinion. We also now have less ammo on most ships, less distributor for energy weapons. So combat is less fun. It takes so long to get the shields down on anything, or you have to burn through so many ballistic bullets or rounds that you're going back to a station to rearm every single time. And even if they add physicalized ammo boxes in the future for your cargo hold, that means every engagement you gotta land and rearm physically your ammunition. It's a video game. If you ran out of ballistic ammunition in Elite Dangerous, you left combat, you had materials you'd saved up, you clicked a button and it replenished your ammo for you. There was a skill to that because you had to go farm those materials. But this right now, I run ballistics on my Corsair. I have to go rearm after 2 engagements if it's a lot of ships that I'm fighting. I don't want to go to a station every 15 minutes. I know I'm not speaking for everybody, but it's losing its fun for me. More rearming, more repairing, more landing at stations, more time preparing. Immersion and hyper-realism are two very different things. I like immersion. I like for it to feel realistic, as far as a space game can feel realistic. But we're wandering, in my opinion, way too close to simulator realism. Hold the handle to open the door, delay. If I can do it faster in real life, if anything that can be done in the game, I could physically do faster myself. If I can't vault something that I could climb in real life, if I can't open a box as fast as I could do it in real life, then it's not even realism anymore. It's too much. It's too much. 3.2, 3.1 broke even more somehow. More crashes, invisible debris, more broken missions. So many missions you just can't do right now because they're completely broken. Falling through the planet at random times has increased, at least for me and people I play with. They lowered pay on a lot of missions. I'm all for balancing the economy. I think it's important to balance things out and make capital ships more expensive, and I get that, I do. But increasing the cost of everything while lowering the income from everything else, or at least not balancing it, at the moment, it feels predatory. I am not going to be the person who sits here and says CIG is scamming us for ships. That's not the case, but I can see how people feel this way. Because as I'm sitting at an ASOP terminal trying to get a vehicle and unable to do so because it is so laggy because there's so many physical entities going on, they're increasing the price of ships and lowering the payout, where it's going to take, I think it should take a year to earn a capital ship. I do. I'm one of those people who thinks if you want an 890 jump, you should not be able to get that in 6 weeks, personally. But 6 weeks of heavy gameplay being enough to maybe earn enough money for a constellation is also a little bit much. And then money is split on missions. So you're making 10K. You gotta split that between 2, 3, 5 people in your crew. At the very least, don't split reputation to allow us to get to those higher ranks faster. Again, this is alpha. Maybe they intend to change it so rep isn't split. But all those things combined, plus the bugs, plus the crashing, it's giving it a really bad feel right now. And then the missions are broken, so you can't do as many things. They're paying less for salvage. They're paying less for weapon parts. I'm finding it a hard time to find reasons to play outside of just wanting to be in space and fly my ships. And now 324 Evocati. As much as can be said about Evocati without any video being able to be shared, you know, physicalized everything, strained servers that already lag like crazy. Physicalizing every single thing in your inventory, it's unnecessary. It's cool if it works. You know, Starfield, you boarded a ship and there was physical entities everywhere, but that ship was also loaded into as its own little microcosm, its own level. If you want to physicalize everything in an open universe MMO, their servers cannot handle that, as we've seen. And so not only does it put a strain on the servers, but it makes everything take so long. You don't just go into a place and bring up your inventory and put some stuff on in that like paper doll style and then leave. You have to go and physically select things, which I could accept if it wasn't also on the other end. If you want to loot a body from a site, you can't just click take helmet. You have to go into the inventory, click through to a view, maybe put the helmet in your backpack. Do you want the chest piece? You can't just take it unless you're putting it on. If you want that chest piece in addition to yours, you have to drag it onto the ground, drag the legs onto the ground, drag the gun onto the ground, come back out of the inventory, crouch down, pick up the box, walk, go into your ship, interact with a box. Like in real life, if this was real, I could unzip that person's armor and just toss it into a box on my ship in about 30 seconds. It's not like that in the game. It's cumbersome. It's unnecessary. It's incredibly frustrating that they're adding more barriers to play. And as somebody who does a lot of looting, gathers a lot of stuff, it has broken an entire, or at the moment at least in Evocati, which is not live, I should say. Maybe they'll change it. It is a work in progress. But right now, I just won't loot anything. I'll loot enough to wear and I'll continue on. And if I die, I'll go do more missions. Like maybe that's what they're pushing us towards. It's like Destiny style looting where you kind of just take something new and leave something behind rather than accumulating. But they're adding more barriers and it's not as fun to me anymore. Boxes, cargo, having to log in and physically move every single box, having a load timer of 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours for a big ship is absurd. I think that asking the station to load the cargo for you should take a cut of your profit. Take 5 to 10 minutes. But if you take a mission for cargo and you say, okay, load my ship for me, I don't want to do it manually because I'm by myself, and they tell you it's going to take 3 hours, what if you don't want to play for that long? You log out, the mission's now gone. So you've failed the mission, couldn't load the cargo, all because they're trying to force you to physically do it. Make it an option to physically do it. Make it so you make more money physically doing it. Absolutely. But heavily penalizing you for having the station do it negates all casual or medium casual players from the equation. And if you think you want that, if you think, oh, casuals have no place here, you're not thinking straight, because we need casual players to be constantly joining the game and enjoying themselves to continue to fund the game so the hardcore guys can play more often and play longer. It's a weird direction, and I've been watching other people's content. I'm not the only one feeling this way. It's too far, in my opinion. It's just not fun at the moment. It feels like we're going too close to a sim, making things less fun almost on purpose. And for what? If it's for immersion, I disagree, because I love immersion. I love immersive gameplay. Not necessarily role play, not necessarily simulator, but I think that sci-fi immersion is a lot of fun. But there's a line break between immersion and needing to drink water every 30 minutes or you die. Having to load cargo physically or wait 5 hours is silly. If I can do it faster in real life, if I could physically do something in real life faster than I can do it in game, then it's not a game anymore. It's not fun to play it. Those are my complaints right now. When people ask me, hey, should I get Star Citizen? Up until 3.22 and barring 3.18, I always say yes. It's not perfect, it's an alpha, but try it. It's $45. You don't have to spend money on ships, you don't have to pledge a lot of stuff. Spend $45 and play the game, and you will enjoy it most of the time. Right now, I can't recommend playing it to anybody because everything's broken. Everything's lagging, all the missions aren't working properly. The next patch is going to physicalize so much that for the average player who has an hour, maybe in their evening, to play, it's going to take them an hour just to gear themselves up, get their ship, get their cargo, and leave. Then how are they going to complete the hour-long cargo mission? Or the mercenary mission that won't spawn? Or the bounty mission that the NPCs are kamikazing you 90% of the time right now? I'm hopeful that there's a plan. I'm very hopeful that this video does not age well. That in 6 months, I'm looking back going, oh, it all made sense. They were physicalizing it because of this thing. They added this feature, they added this button, and it all makes sense now. There's a high possibility of that. And I want to be very clear for the friends I have at CIG, the ones who are in our Discord server, the ones who I've streamed with before. This is not hate towards CIG. They are a company, they are people that are doing their best. And worst case scenario, we don't play the game. The worst case scenario is I go, you know what? Not the game for me. I'll go start streaming something else and playing something else. I hope it's not the case because I love Star Citizen. But that is the worst case scenario here. I am not lobbying for boycotts or refunds or calling it a scam or anything like that. I am just not a fan of the current direction that the game that I love is going. And I really hope that as they are working towards this immersion and realism, which I do enjoy to a point, that they remember that it is a game. We log into this to escape from reality, to have fun. And many of the changes have made it so hyper realistic or just broken that I would rather just go outside and play tennis, which maybe is better for me. But I want to play this game and I want to make content, and it's been very, very hard for me to recommend this game to people or to play it or to stream it or to recruit for an org when it's been this broken. That's me. So what are your thoughts? You know, leave some comments. It's great for the algorithm, or join Discord and just talk to me there. Do you disagree? Do you love the direction it's going? Do you agree that it's broken? You know, do you hate it? Do you love it? You know, just tell me. I like to have these conversations. I'm doing my best to make more video. I'm using this time and the fact that I just hit YouTube Partner to launch a podcast. It's coming soon. I'm going to record a couple episodes before I put them up there. Podcasts don't involve gameplay, so I can talk about the game I love while not having to actually play the buggy mess that's going on right now. I will still stream probably once a week right now, mostly Arena Commander, because it's much more stable. And I took advantage of hitting Partner, as I said, to put together some merch. I made cool little t-shirts and stuff I thought were cool, so if you like them, they'll probably be under the video. Anything you buy goes towards me making more of these videos, and I appreciate it. Otherwise, you know, tune in for the next one, join Discord, hang out with us, and as always, barring any bugs, we'll see you in the verse.